Hey guys, my name's Kyle Dake, Cornell University, 4-time national champ, 4 different weight classes, and I'm here to teach you about my claw series. It's been one of the staples of my top game, and I really think that it can take you to the next level. All right, so today I'm gonna go over a lot of my claw tilts, and I'm gonna show how to go one way, and if they stop it, I'll go the other way. And then from there, even at the beginning when I try to get my claw, if they stop that, I'm gonna go to my half Nelson. And then I'll show it one way, and then show it the next way. So we have multiple ways to score on top. So if they stop one thing, we're going to the next. If they stop that, then we're going to the next, and so on and so forth. And then there's a few little tricks here and there to mention, try to figure out how to get good at these positions. Specific drills, transitions to new moves, and then really the important parts of mastering these moves. So for the drills, they're meant to help you get comfortable while you're on your back. So if I'm on my back, I feel comfortable there because I've been doing this for a very long time. For first-time users, it's going to be a little difficult. They're not used to being on their back, and these drills are going to help. Also, transitions. You got guys who know your claw's coming, who know your half's coming, so we got to go somewhere different. So I went to my inside chop, and then went to my opposite side claw. So if they stop you one time, you go to something different. And then I also did, if I go claw, I try to go one way and they stop it, I go deep waist, and then I can score that way too. So there's a bunch of different ways to score points on top, and I'm here to show you how to do those things. So the next thing we're going to show is just a few drills that you can do even before you get started. Now, for a coach, I want you to watch the technique and learn how I do it, but these drills will help the younger kids and even the high school kids learn how to feel the position on their own. So before you get started, you want to do these first drills, do the progression, and then after that, they can figure out what works for them and they can try to implement my technique. So the first thing I would say is just tell the kids to grab their neck underneath the shoulder, put your shoulder in their armpit, and right here, and just say wrestle, okay? Now, kids are trying to figure it out themselves, figure out what works for them. Not every kid is gonna do it the same exact way. So you gotta customize it for each wrestler, okay? And the way you're gonna do that is just letting them go and do it. Just say, go ahead, grab it, now wrestle. And now some kids might take it this way, or some kids might take it this way, or some kids might try to do something crazy like this. You never know. So you gotta let them feel it at first. And then once they feel it, say, okay, this is what you're doing, I'm gonna show you how to do it this way. This is the way that Kyle does it. This is the way that someone else does it. It doesn't have to be my way or the highway. It can be custom to your own strengths and away from your weaknesses. So first drill, line up, tell them ready, wrestle, and then we wrestle. This bottom guy's trying to stop me. He doesn't let me go. I gotta figure out a way. And that's it. That's the only thing. You can do about 15 to 25 second go, let them figure it out, and then move on. So then the next one is say, okay, get your claw, get your thigh pry. Now all you have to do, top guy, you can win this game if you roll him through, if you expose his back, kind of like freestyle. Say, okay, well, that's a step. That's a step in the direction we're trying to go. So get your claw, ready, wrestle, try to roll him through. Bottom guy doesn't let him. I win the game. That time I won, okay? But let's say I try for 20 seconds and I'm stuck here. He's too strong. I can't get it. And then this guy wins. Make it a game. Make it fun. And that's the most important part, really, is to have fun. Make it fun. Figure out ways in which the little kids or even the high school kids have fun with it. Okay, so the next one is you got to hold them there for 1 second. So you see the progression happening. So get your claw, get him here, drive forward, and try to hold them. Okay, try to hold them on their back. Ready, wrestle. I roll through. 1, I scored a point. But again, if he stops me, he scores and he wins the game. And then you switch. then the partner will go, I'll try to stop him, and whoever scores the most out of 5, let's say, it doesn't have to, you can pick the number, wins the game. And it gets their mind off of wrestling, and it makes them think about having fun, which is very important. I know when I was coming through high school, I wanted to incorporate as much fun as possible, and I like to make sure that kids watching this video right now are having fun. So that's just one way to do it. And then again, you can do the same thing with a half. Start with a half, roll through, try to get those drills the same way. So this next drill that I'm going to show really helps you learn how to use your feet and learn how to use your knees and how to rotate your opponent's body while you're on your back. Because a lot of times people fail because they're not comfortable on their back and they bail out. Okay, so this drill is going to help you feel comfortable there. And it's okay to expose your back as long as you're in control and as long as you're not pinning yourself. So what we do here at Cornell and what I've been doing in high school is just little drills that will help me get used to being on my back and not getting pinned and scoring points. So the first one is just the tilt drill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 2-on-1 tilt, and I'm going to take my 2-on-1 and expose his back. Okay? Notice my knee is pointed to the ceiling. You're going to see this trend coming through the entire video. So my bottom knee pointed to the ceiling. My back knee is controlling his bottom leg. Okay? My back foot is controlling that bottom leg. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate his head over top of my face. Okay? Ceiling, head, ceiling. Rotate him, elevate with this foot, rotate him across. This foot right here becomes my new plant. So this is my plant foot. This foot will become my plant foot here. And this foot is my elevator. And then I rotate him again here.
Mention how you pop your hips.
Okay. Rotate him, catch him. Look at my footwork. That's important. Another thing that's important is how I'm getting him over the top. I'm not going to be able to just roll him over. I got to pop my hips and get him through. Pop my hips, get him through. Okay? So when you're doing this drill, I got my 2-on-1 here, bottom knee to ceiling, back foot elevating, rotate through, pop my hips up a little bit because that creates some space when my hips come back down. So I pop, get them up. When I come back down, I can rotate them. Switch my feet. My elevator becomes my bottom foot. My bottom foot becomes my elevator. So we can do a similar drill to this. Again, working on our back, we can start from our half Nelson. So I get my half, I roll right to my back, and from here, bottom, I rotate them across, bottom knee is elevating. Bottom knee forward, back leg elevating. Again, rotate his head across, hand that's in the thigh, comes up, switches. Again, my feet switch. The footwork is important. Rotate them across, same thing. Switch my feet, pop my hips, secure it tight. So this is a similar drill. Get my half. I roll through, here, bottom knee to ceiling, elevate. Okay, he's fighting off his back real hard. He's fighting off his back. I gotta rotate him, get him to the other side. So I pop my hips, turn his body, the hand that was in the thigh comes up towards his half, towards the full Nelson. Make sure you don't full Nelson, that's illegal. Come through, this hand releases and comes back into the thigh. Elevate. Always finish on top. So again, chain wrestling. We're gonna build off of the move we did before. So we're gonna build off this drill. We get our half, we roll him through, we catch him, we do our drill, we switch him back. Now we come back out on top. Pop our hips, come back out on top. Now he's in his base. Now go to your claw drill. Now you can do the same thing with the claw. Roll through, catch him, switch him, catch him, switch him, come back out on top. Now I'm going again, okay? So always build off of it and don't be satisfied with one set of back points. Keep building, keep chain wrestling, and keep scoring points. So another drill or aspect to point out to your wrestler is that if you're on your back, you can always come out of it. If you're not comfortable there, you can always come out of it. So it's going to take time for you to get comfortable on your back and scoring points from your back. But know that once you're there, it's not an end. You're not going to get pinned as long as you realize that you can always come out of it. So if I'm wrestling and I take Jeremy to his back and he holds me here, he sprawls out and does whatever, he's catching me. Know that all I have to do is arch my back, pop my hips, and come back out on top. Here, okay? It doesn't even, all you have to do is move the man, okay? If you feel like you're in trouble and you're not gonna be able to score your points, you gotta get out of there. You don't wanna be stuck there. You don't wanna get pinned. It could be the most important match of your life. Make sure you pop your hips and have a way out. Don't get stuck there, have a way out. And this is the way out. When you're on your back, so I get him here and I'm trying to roll through, he's real tough. Just arch my back, pop my hips, rotate over the top, come back out on top. So the first thing you want to make sure when you're on top is that you start off with the right mentality. So for me, when I was on top, I wanted to keep moving, keep them guessing, chain wrestle. And what that means is not sticking to one move, focusing on it too much. Because if you do, then the guy gets to adjust on bottom and could beat your move. So for me, chain wrestle and put moves together, then we can score our back points. So first things first is, come on in, Jerry, is we want to line up heavy. Coach Spates has been always preaching that to me. My coaches all through high school, even now, still line up heavy. So what we mean by that is line up with a heavy chest. You don't want to get on light, because then he feels comfortable. What you want to do is make him as uncomfortable as possible and make him think about something other than getting out or other than reversing you. So line up heavy, get your chest on him. When you get on his navel, make sure you squeeze those fingers together, bring your elbow back. Don't twist him, don't get a deep waist because you'll get called for that, but just line up on his navel, squeeze whatever you can, pull your elbow back. Hand on the elbow, fingers go in the cleft of his elbow, and again, squeeze like you can. Okay, so when I line up on this guy, he's not thinking about getting out. He's thinking about, wow, why is he squeezing me so hard? Or why is he squeezing my stomach so hard? And that's really important just because it takes a little bit off of his mental game, and that's really important. So line up heavy, deep waist, squeeze that elbow. From here, we're gonna go to our breakdown. So there's a million different breakdowns that you could go over. The first one I'm gonna go over is a combination between a spiral ride and a chop. So what I wanna do here is I wanna go chop with my hand that's on the elbow. I'm gonna go spiral ride with the hand that's on the navel. So when I line up, ref blows the whistle, hand that's on the navel, punches him in the thigh, other hand's collapsing this elbow. And at the same time, my feet back here are running forward. So I'm on my toes, and I'm not light here. I'm not waiting for him to make a move. I'm dictating the pace. So I line up, my feet are driving forward, ready to go. When that whistle blows, punch, collapse, run forward. So here it is. Line up heavy, whistle goes. Running forward, keeping my hips on top of his. If I fall off to the side, this is where I get in trouble. Okay, guys start sitting, running their feet, and I can lose them. But if I stay on top of him, here, now he's got to work through my body. Instead of being able just to run around without any pressure on him, I'm putting a ton of pressure on him, making it very difficult to escape. So come back. Line up heavy, squeeze that stomach, squeeze that elbow, whistle blows, feet run forward, chop, punch the thigh. Here. And now, this is when I'm gonna start moving into my claw. So he's exposing himself, his shoulder's planted. I can very easily reach under and grab a claw and try to work from here, okay? But now he knows that my claw's there. Okay, so this is the chain wrestling I'm talking about. I don't wanna go right to it because he knows it's coming. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of work at his knees, work at his hands, whatever it may be, until he starts to base up. So if he starts to base up, he doesn't even think I'm going for a claw. Now I switch sides, knee comes in front, other knee pinches his upper hamstring. From here, now I can take my claw. So now my shoulder goes in his armpit, my fingers try to wrap all the way around his neck. If you can touch his ear, congratulations, you win, okay? I've never been able to touch someone's ear, but hopefully you can. So I got my knees pinched, deep claw, the hand that was on the elbow is now coming to my thigh pry. From here, I'm gonna drive forward, trying to collapse over top of this knee, bring his hips over top of his knee, okay? So I'm pinching, bring his hips over top of his knee, look in the opposite direction I wanna go. Put your ear on his shoulder blade, look in the opposite direction you wanna go. Roll through. From here, I gotta make sure this claw is pulling down towards my hips. Down towards my hips. Because if I let him float up here, I'm gonna lose it. But if I keep him low, pull him down towards my hips, and keep his hips between my knees, then I'm in good position. From here, I'm gonna rotate his upper body over top of my face, okay? So one analogy that I use, I see the ceiling, then I'm gonna see the back of his head, then I wanna see the ceiling again. So I rotate him, ceiling, back of his head, ceiling, and I wanna keep him elevated off of the mat, okay? So why I do that is because if I let him go all the way down, this knee crumbles under. And this has to stay up so he can't get his hips out and belly down, okay? But if my knee's down, look how easy it is. And I lose it, okay? Let's go back.
Start to go further back, maybe.
So I'm lining up heavy, going right for my breakdown, driving my feet forward, breaking him down. Working his hips, trying to kind of bait him to coming up. And as soon as he does, switch sides, hand that was on the elbow goes to the thigh, hand that was on the stomach goes to my claw. Knee comes in front of his knee, back knee pinching. Okay, the back knee pinching is probably the most important part because that allows me to keep that bottom knee up when I finish. So I drive forward, roll through, ceiling, head, ceiling, keep him off the mat. And one other way I explain it is just to show my fingers, show my hand, okay? I don't want to leave it here because I'm not showing my hand to the mat. Show my hand to the mat, score my back points. Bottom knee is pointing directly to the ceiling. That's very, very important, okay? From here, if you lose the thigh, that's fine, you can go deep waist. If you lose the waist, you can come wrist. As long as your knee's up and you're squeezing tight, then you can score your points. And when you're done, always come back out on top. You never want to finish on your back. So that's important when you're drilling, because if you start drilling where you finish on your back and you just kind of let him roll off, in a match, that's how it's going to be. So when you drill it, you get your claw, you score your back points, always jump back out on top. Okay, one more time, we'll go through it a little bit faster. So line up heavy, squeeze, squeeze, run him forward. Now, working his hands, working his ankles, letting him come up. Switch sides. Get that claw, thigh pry, pinching, knee to knee. Roll over my back, rotate his upper body, show my hand to the mat, score my back points. And when you drill, you come back out on top, ready to go again. Now I'm in the same starting position. He's broken down, I'm fighting hands. I let him come up, boom, claw again. So now we're gonna move on, and this guy knows my claw's coming. He can't stop my hand from getting a claw, but he knows it's coming and he's bracing out, so I can't take him, roll him over my back. So what I'm gonna do, take him the other way. So normally, when I'm teaching a camp or something, I make the kids break them down every time, but right now, you guys know how to break them down, and I don't really need to show that. What's important is that when I start to go, he's starting to look into me and really brace down so I can't take him over. So what I'm gonna do is hit a knee switch. So I'm gonna switch sides, keeping my claw. My back knee that pinches his butt is gonna come over to this side, and the knee that was blocking this front knee is going to pinch his butt on the other side. So I'm gonna switch here. And from here, I'm not gonna roll over my back. I'm gonna pull him into my lap. Pull him into my lap, keeping this thigh pry, okay? So I try to take him this way. He's bracing out, knee switch, here. Now I pull him into my lap, and I'm in the same ending position. Ceiling, head, ceiling. Once again, show my hand, bottom knee to the ceiling. If I lose the waist, come to the wrist. Squeeze, come back out on top. So get my claw. I'm knee to knee right now, trying to take him over. Can't do it. I'm pinching with this back knee, blocking with this knee. He's too strong, so I hit a knee switch. Here. Now I pull him into my lap, go straight back, show my hand, score my back points. Bottom knee, always to the ceiling. And one way that we can make sure that that happens is when you're teaching the move, coaches, you gotta be aware of the kids letting their knee fall. So if you see it, just tell them right away. Say, hey guys, if your knee goes down, you owe me 10 push-ups or whatever. Incentivize the fact of doing the correct technique right away. Because if you don't, then that's how bad habits develop, and then bad habits are obviously very hard to break. So, line up heavy, switch sides, clip my claw. Try to take him over, he braces out. Gotta hit my knee switch. So I turn here. Now I pull him into my lap. Pull him into my lap, and now we're in the same position. Obviously, I'm not gonna stay on my back. I'm gonna show my hand, and showing my hand gets my shoulder off the mat. See that? So if I stay here, I'm pinned. But if I show my hand, my shoulder's off the mat, don't have to worry about being pinned, and I'm gonna score back points. Once again, come back out on top every single time. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna go over is when the guy knows your claw's coming and he's strong enough to beat you, or he just pinches his head like this so I can't even get under his neck. That's fine because that just opens up a whole different can of worms. So now I can go half Nelson, okay? Instead of going claw tilt, I can go half tilt. So for that, it's just a simple hand switch, and then there's one slight difference when we roll them through. Okay? So again, line up heavy, break him down. Once he's broken down, switch sides. Go for the claw first. That's what I would do. Go for the claw. He stops you. Bring my hand in front of his face. Just grab onto his neck. You don't need to be elbow out half here. Okay? That's when you're trying to pin him. We don't need that right now. We just need a handle to hold on to. This is my handle. This is how I control his body, okay? That's what I need. My opposite hand still going in the thigh, my knee still blocking, and my back knee still pinching. Again, when I roll through, I look the opposite way. Here, ceiling, head, ceiling. This time, instead of trying to pull him tight, because if I pull him tight, he can grab his own hand and pull himself over like that, okay? So what I want to do is extend my hand here and turn his face towards me. There. See that? So it's a subtle difference between squeezing and extending my tricep, exposing his back. But remember, knee has to stay facing the ceiling. Okay? Again, come back out on top, ready to wrestle. Face that way. So I switch sides, try to get my claw, he blocks it off. Hand comes in front of the face, just to hook, okay? I just need something to hold on to. From here, knee to knee, pinching the back side, look in the opposite direction you want to go, roll through, ceiling, head, ceiling, extend that arm. So now, when I extend it, he can't grab, if he tries to grab his own wrist and pull himself through, he's got to fight through my strength of my arm. but I keep him tight. He only has to fight through my wrist and forearm, and he can pull it right down. Okay? So that's the main difference between your finishing of the claw and the half. So when you finish, make sure that you extend the arm on the half and squeeze with the claw. So that's very important to remember. Okay, so I line up, switch sides, try to get my claw. He beats me. Can't get it, can't get up there. So what I'm gonna do, hand comes in front of the face, right to my half Nelson. Get my handle, knee to knee, back knee pinching, drive forward and roll to my back, ceiling, head, ceiling. Turn my hand, extend my elbow and my arm, turn his face towards me, score my back points. Bottom knee, ceiling, okay? It's a lot of work with the ceiling, so get used to it. Come back out on top, ready to wrestle. Same thing, claw. If I try to get my claw, he braces one way, I gotta go the other direction. Same thing with my half. So I go for my claw, he stops it, go right to my half, just need the handle. I start driving forward, he stops me. Don't try to fight his strength. Go in the opposite direction away from his strength. Knee switch. Again, don't roll over your back. Pull him into your lap. Pull him into your lap, you have more control, and he won't be able to switch his hips and kick out. So pull him into my lap. Here, control him straight back. Ceiling, head, ceiling. Extend your arm, turn his head into you. Score your back points. Come out on top, ready to wrestle. Okay, line up heavy, go for a breakdown. Right now we're not gonna do it. Switch sides, look for my claw. It's not there, can't quite get it. Hand comes in front of the face, grabs my half. Drive forward, try to get your roll through. He stops you. Don't fight the pressure, switch sides. Here, now I'm just pulling him straight back. I'm going to my back for a brief second. You won't get called for a defensive pin, but you're just going there so you can control this man. If you don't go to your back, he can start kicking out. So when you go to your back, realize it's only for a split second and control him. So I'm here, I go right to my back, turn his head so I can see the ceiling again, extend my arm, expose his back, get ready to wrestle, come back out on top, we're ready to go. Okay, so now, state finals. You're down 14-0. You choose top. It's like, oh, man, you don't want to lose. Okay, this is what Coach Spates does. He goes down 14-0 so he can pin you in a dramatic fashion. I personally just like to win. Okay, so it doesn't help you getting back points. I mean, it's 14-3. Congratulations. We need the pin. We're looking for the pin. So that's what we're going to go for. So we line up heavy. Again, switch sides, look for our claw. He stops it. That's just our chain. That's part of our chain wrestling. Try to get the claw. He stops it. Move on to the next move. Try to roll him through. He stops it. Got to go to the next move. Dictate the pace. Knee switch. Here. Now I sit him back in my lap. I expose his shoulders to the mat, and now I got to wrestle. I got to get the pin. Right here, I'm just getting back points. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plant my feet. And now I'm going to extend my hips upward, kind of like a gut wrench. So I'm going to extend my hips upward to get his legs off of my body. Now, I'm going to do a head cartwheel. So that means everyone knows how to do a cartwheel. All you have to do is put your forehead on the mat and hop your hips over to the opposite side. Now, my elbow goes right to his elbow, and that goes right into the mat. It's like a nail. Take a nail through your elbow, his elbow in the mat, and that's how you're going to get the pin. Okay? And in doing so, my hand that was in the thigh comes out and grabs that same side wrist. From here, now I can put all my weight on this elbow, and I don't need to square my chest up with his. Okay? I have all of his upper body is taken care of. I have my half Nelson, and I have that wrist. Okay, let's go again. So I get my half, try to go, he stops me, come back the other way. Can't just score points. I need to get the pin, need to get it. So I pop my hips off. Here, head cartwheel, elbow into the mat. Elbow into the mat, and then my hip is what really puts that pressure on them. My hip comes down on top of it. This hand stays over the top and captures this wrist. And now, he's got to fight off his back like crazy. His feet come over the top, then I can go chest to chest. So try to go for my claw. Chain wrestle, get this. Switch sides, pull them back, pop your hips. Once you score your points, here. Now I jump over the top with a head cartwheel. Come through. Elbow. That's what this pressure comes from. My hip goes on top of my elbow. Here. This hand slides up to the elbow. You can either pull it back like an arm bar, or you can just plant your fist there and wait for him to jump over too. Because this is not a comfortable position for him. And when he does, chest to chest, sink that half, score your points. So I switch sides, look for my half Nelson. Got it. Drive forward. He stops me. Switch sides. Pull him to my lap. Score my points. Pop my hips off. Here. Cartwheel over the top. Now I got him. Okay? Now I got him. See how I'm grabbing this wrist? I don't need to grab it like that. I can put my fist down to stop it, or turn my hand up and capture him here. And then when this happens, his feet are going to usually come over the top, and I go chest to chest and score my pin. All right, so the next one is for those ultra strong guys who you just can't roll through. They're too strong, and you're just having a really tough time rolling through your back and holding them there. So I kind of developed this out of a power half, and I call it power claw. So Jeremy's down. I get my claw, and I have my thigh pry, and I try to roll him through, but he's really bracing out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my hand with my back foot. Okay? So I'm going to replace my hand. I'm going to hit a knee switch, but this knee, instead of going to his knee, is going to come inside as a leg. Okay? And now, notice I'm not trying to throw my leg in. I'm not trying to ride crossbody or ride a figure four. I'm just planting it, because this is going to give me my height. So that when I replace that hand, this hand's free now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my forearm, come over the back of his neck, grab his armpit. And now I'm going to crunch him forward, drive forward, and score my back points. Again, this is really tight, and if you want to, you can lock on your own arm. It's not illegal, but it hurts a lot for this bottom guy. So I get my claw. He's really strong, he's not letting me do anything. I'm going to switch sides, replace my hand with my foot, come over the top. Use the blade of my forearm, put it right in the back of his neck, grab his armpit, take my elbow, drive his head forward, and I'm going to go over the top of him. Here, over the top, and I'm squeezing everything really tight. Okay? I can leave my leg in or just let it on the mat. Okay? Rotate. Okay? I'm here. I can leave my leg in here or just let it on the mat, because I'm controlling so much of his upper body that's going to be hard for him to go anywhere. If he tries to fight down, he's going to choke himself out. Okay? So I can just hold him tight, capture him, and score my back points. Once again, come back out on top, ready to wrestle. Okay, so I get my claw, I try to roll him through, I replace my hand with my foot, step forward. The hand that was on the foot was over top of his neck, use the blade of my forearm, drive him forward, and once I'm here, my hips go in, and I extend him. Okay, that's really important. If you don't extend him, you just kind of let him sit here and you just got everything loose, he's just going to pull down. Okay, so you got to make sure everything is tight. Make it tight. So I get my claw. I'm trying to take him over, can't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my hand that's on the thigh with my outside foot here. Now I block this side off. Top hand, use the blade of your forearm, grab in the armpit, drive your elbow forward, get him to his back. Arch my hips in, keep everything tight, score those back points. Okay, again, make sure that you keep it tight, because if you don't, if you keep it loose, he's just gonna bail out, you're not gonna score any points, and it's wasted energy. Okay, that's one thing that's very important, is that make sure every single movement has a purpose. Because if you just do things to do things, you're wasting energy, and you're kind of diluting what you can do. If you do everything with a purpose, everything's strong, and you score points every time you attack, that's the goal. You want to score every single time you go for an attack. You don't want it to just be, okay? You don't want it to be a bland attempt. You don't want it to be an empty attempt. Okay? You want to have purpose. Make sure that everything you do has purpose. And so an important thing to note is that when I'm chain wrestling on top, I'm not using my claw to set up my half. I'm using my claw to try to get my claw. I'm trying to score with that. If he stops me, then I adjust. And then I try to score with my half. And if he stops me, I go the other way, try to score with my half. So I'm not doing it just to set up the next move, because eventually you're going to run out of moves to hit, and you're just going to be stuck with a setup and no points. So try to score with that first one. And if he stops you, he's got to stop you, then you can move on. Okay? So don't try to keep using it as a setup. Keep going forward. Make sure that you try to score with the move you try right away. That's the most important part. Try to score. Try to score right away, and if he stops you, good for him. I'm going to move on and score with a different move. And if he stops that, good for him, score with a different move. And so always look to score with whatever you do. So I get my claw, and now I'm committed to rolling through. So I start to go, he bails out. Well, I already have my claw, and I have pretty good pressure on him, so I'm gonna keep it there. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna reach back with this hand, come right above the crack of his knee. Lift, drive my shoulder forward to pin his head down, step through with my heel. It doesn't matter where I hook. The higher the better, in my opinion. So I hook with my heel, turn my heel up, turn his hips, arch my back, foot to the ceiling. Foot to the ceiling here, and if he starts bellying out, I rotate my hips over top of this knee and collapse his hips that way. So I don't want to circle towards his head because he can keep circling with me. So what I'm going to do is circle the opposite direction over top of this brace knee. See, his foot is keeping him off his back. Okay, I'm not able to pin him here. So what I'm going to do is rotate over top of that knee. Now I can pin him, and that's how I'm going to score my points. So I'm on my claw, I drive forward, about to roll through, he bails out. I'm going to keep my shoulder pressure, drive forward. My backhand that was in the thigh is going to come right above the crack of his knee, and I'm going to pull like I'm doing dumbbell row. Try to pull my elbow back to my side, lift, drive forward. Notice how I'm driving with my feet forward, and all of his weight's on his head. From here, I step through, hook with my heel, let those hips fall. Now my foot goes to the ceiling. And from here, he's fighting hard off his back. I'm looking for the pin. So I'm gonna rotate over this back brace knee of his, rotate it down, and now I have my pin. And again, when I'm with my claw, I don't want my shoulder to fall back. I want to keep it tight, right? And then make him kiss his arm. Make him kiss his arm. Using my weight to hold him on his back and keep that arm in his face. Make him uncomfortable. All right, so still thinking about the chain wrestling aspect, where if I try to go for my claw and he's really strong, what I can do is I can go to a deep waist. So I'm here, I'm working my claw, I try to go this way, he stops me. Okay, I try to go this way, he stops me. And that's fine, okay? Now this hand's almost free. I kind of loosen up my claw, go to my deep waist. And now I come back the other side. So my tight waist tilt. Again, the feet are very important. This is why I want to show it, because I want to show that my knee is up and my back foot is elevating and everything is tight. Okay? So this is just a transition off of my claw into another sort of tilt. So I get my claw, I try to take him, he stops me. I go the other way, he stops me. This hand is already so deep, just grab that tight waist. Take that tight waist, again, hit another knee switch, drive forward, bottom knee to the ceiling, elevate here. So I have my claw, try to take him, he stops me. I go the other way, he stops me. My hand is already so deep. Look at my shoulders. My shoulders are already like perpendicular with the floor. And that just means I'm really deep on his waist. So what I can do, release my claw, hit another knee switch, and now I control his hips, drive forward, bottom knee to the ceiling, elevate. Go the other way. So I have my claw, thigh pry. I try to go one way, he stops me. I go the other way, he stops me. Look how deep this hand is. All I have to do is wrap up his waist. Release my claw, knee switch again. Drive forward, bottom knee to the ceiling, elevate that back foot, score my back points, come out on top. These are like transition moves from the claw, just quick transitions. So, I mean, if you get stuck with your claw and you can't turn them, you have options. If that guy's too strong and you can't turn him, you're going to have other ways to score. You're going to have other ways to break him down. So this next one is going to go claw. He stops us. We're going to go to our 2-on-1 or our single wrist. So I get my deep claw. I'm trying to run him over. I switch sides. He stops me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this same side, release the claw, punch out this elbow with my forearm, and my hand is coming to his pinky finger, okay? I can't just grab his pinky finger like this. I got to grab his whole hand, but attack that pinky finger, rotate it under, and capture it, okay? So I'm here. I take my forearm, knock out his elbow, capture that pinky finger, and as soon as I do, I drive forward. Drive forward. So I have my claw, it's not working. So I gotta adjust, I gotta make adjustments. So what I'm gonna do, take my forearm, knock out his elbow, grab that pinky finger, drive him forward. Again, staying on top of him, not rolling under so he can get out. Keep good position. With this one-on-one, forward, and now I can get to work trying to pull it out, go into my other tilts, and it just takes time off the clock. If you're winning and you got that claw and you can't turn him, you're doing everything you can, sometimes you just need a fresh start. So breaking him down, capturing that wrist, make him work back up to his base, and when he's up on his base, boom, take him again. So I'm using this wrist. I'm using that inside for my claw. I'm using that inside chop. So I'm using the inside chop, grabbing that pinky finger, and from there, I can still go back to my claw. Always look for it. So I'm here, I have my claw. I can't beat him, so I gotta change. I gotta break him down, start over again. I break him down to his elbow, pull him across. Now this hand's free. I have the wrist. I switch sides. Now I can get my claw again. Boom, right here. Drive forward, drive my knee under, score him points. So the first time when we do our claw, we go claw and then thigh pry. And I mentioned that if you lose the thigh pry, you can go to the wrist. And that's the same thing with this inside chop. I go inside chop, and now I have that wrist. Drive him forward, now I have to get my claw. So instead of having my claw first, then my wrist second, I have my wrist first, and then my claw second. So I switch sides, so it's good when you drill it, when you first start to drill, make sure you go both sides. Don't just get really good at one side, because somebody might be really good at stopping it. And you have to transition to the inside chop, and if you don't have a good claw to the other side, you might not score points. You might have to waste more time. But if you have a good one to the other side, you can capture that wrist, get the claw, take him over. Show it one more time. So I have my claw with my left arm, and I'm trying to take him over. I can't. So I go inside chop, capture that wrist, drive him forward. Now this hand's free. I can snake it underneath his neck and arm. Again, my shoulder's deep. I drive forward. Notice how I switch my knees a little bit, just so I could get really deep on one side. So if I want to take them the other way, I hit a knee switch, drive my bottom knee under. Everything on my claw is tight, 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 tight. Bottom knee is to the ceiling, back leg elevating and pinching. Now I'm scoring points. So it's just, instead of having my claw first, have my wrist first. That's the only difference. So this is off the transition, can't get my claw, so I go inside chop, and I'll show you how to do it a little bit faster. So I line up heavy, ready to go, get my claw. He stops it, go inside chop, wrist, pull him down, get my claw. Do it one more time without me saying anything. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can use these techniques to win some of those close matches and hopefully stand on top of the podium at regional, state, and hopefully nationals. If you're watching this video, I hope your goals are pretty lofty and hopefully you reach those goals. Keep training hard and have fun.